Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a very rainy day here in Moscow and a new apartment tour video. The building's right behind me. We're gonna go and check it out. Today is actually a national holiday in Russia, so it's actually very quiet here in the center of Moscow. This is the apartment building that we want to go look at. It's called My Priority Baumanskaya. Now, I'm actually in the Baumanskaya district of Moscow. This is actually one of the buildings of the university. It's really interesting standing here because it's very contrasting, this Soviet and original building right here, and then how quickly the skyline of Moscow can change just by turning not more than a few degrees. And then have a look at the trees over here and the leaves now all falling as we head towards winter. Off in the distance, about 5 minutes from here, is Baumanskaya metro station and all of the cafes and little shops and restaurants. Just a few minutes walk behind these trees and buildings. We need to go and check out an apartment in this building. This particular building is brand new and recently been commissioned, and a lot of the apartments are not finished. I've quite literally just turned up here and walked from the metro station, and I thought I'd just go for a few minute walk around before I need to find the entrance I need to go in. Now, always on the lower ground floor they put a lot of businesses. Now, being that this is brand new, most of them actually still for rent. It will take some time for business to move into these spaces. Normally little cafes, shops, supermarkets, pharmacies, nail salons, all sorts. Really interesting to see that there is these Juliet balconies, and then on the next part of the building there's these almost triangular looking balconies. Now, they're really not practical in Russia. They look good, but for most of the year they're completely useless, purely because of how cold it is and the fact you can't go outside on them. At least there is a little bit of interesting profiles on the outside of the building. Coming in from the street, now there is different entrances into this common area, and really interesting, the entrance right here. So there is actually steps coming from the street, so you can tap your card or you can enter the apartment number to call up to the apartment. And there is actually a lift here, which could be used, of course, for wheelchairs or prams. And you don't see this very often in apartments in Russia, and perhaps it's an extra feature that they've added in here. Now, the weather isn't the best today. It's raining pretty much all day today, and this is November in Russia. We're all waiting now for snow, and we just have to get through this couple of weeks. So you can see all the different apartments that wrap around to this middle area here. Now, the apartment that I think we're going to see has a view out to the courtyard outside of this area. Some basic things and do's and don'ts. How nice is this though? And all the different sizes of the buildings as well. So there is a little bit of interest in how it looks. There is actually a nice playground off in the distance as well. We've even got this stage area here. Maybe at some point they might host events here. Oh, there's a really cool playground for the kids off in the distance. And really, it's just more about the architecture and the look. There's some seats to relax on, some evergreen plants. It's very echoey in here. It's a little bit strange. Now, there is people already living here. However, a good amount of this apartment building is currently getting remodeled. And actually, you can see a few lights on, not too many. Being a public holiday here, most people won't work today. Even if they can work, they'll have a day off, which is completely fine. Just took my hat off because it's a little bit warm now that I've moved over to my winter gear. I get very hot very quickly. Today's only about 8 Celsius, so it's really not cold at all today. However, just with this niggly rain. I'm an Australian who lives here in the Moscow region, and I make very typical videos about life here in Moscow. I like to do apartment tours, supermarket tours, and I hope you enjoy this video and other videos on the channel, so check it out. And if you like the channel, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. Now you can see here a special guest who we'll be chatting to a little bit later, and Yuri has given us a little bit of access to the apartment. Now, if you were living here, you would have a way to basically tap your card to gain entry. And then if you were to want to call up to the apartment if you're a visitor, there's a button. And then this one actually is if you're delivering food. You can also, of course, get food delivery or anything you like delivered. And then come on in. Now, is this open? Yes. So this is pram storage and bike storage as well. And somebody's put their bike right here. It's always really nice that you can put prams in here, bikes, scooters, and eventually this will be full to the brim and you don't have to take it up to your apartment. How nice is this? This is currently not locked, but at some point it will be with key access. Yuri, let's go check out this apartment. Got a few different doors. Now, the reason they do this is because of the heating. So in winter time, they've got the central heating on and it keeps it nice and warm. Already as we walk in here, we can feel it. And just this finish as well. Very nice. The letterboxes are interesting because typically you have a little key or a small key that you could use. But this one is digital or electronic, so you'd tap your card and it would actually open the box that belongs to you to get your mail, if you wanted to. Really interesting. The other thing too, they've got a downstairs toilet as well, as the door magically opens. And if you were out in the playground, you wouldn't need to go back to your apartment to use the bathroom. How nice is that? Let's find the elevator. Coming out of the elevator on the 5th floor. We just need to walk around this corner to get to the apartment. Now, I will point it out multiple times, the fact that this is under construction. So the entire building and all of the works of the building from the developer are finished. The reason why you've got things on the floor is just to protect them. These will get removed eventually, so there's just some linoleum over the floors and wood paneling and things like that. And there is a few apartments in this direction. If you're curious, there is the fire escape or stairs to go up or down right here. Actually, this has all been cleaned and handed over already. It's very echoey. And then I don't remember the number, but I know where I am. So you do end up with a couple of neighbors. And then pretty much every apartment is in remodeling stages right now. And we need to be right here. Let's head on inside. Now I've got the door open, so it's a little bit easier. And one thing that you'll notice is the finishing of this corridor. Now, because all of the apartments are still being remodeled, they won't remove the flooring and the panels until a certain amount of apartments are done and finished. It's very standard. I will say that this door that's installed from the developer is very thick. It's probably at least an inch thicker than most traditional doors, and that's just how they want to do that and create the finish. So walking inside, you've got a few things to notice here. So there is this entranceway or corridor here. So we've got ahead of us the kitchen and lounge room, bedroom, and then the bathroom. And if I spin around here, this entranceway here, so there's a little dressing table area, somewhere to put your keys and bag when you come in. There's a mirror, and then they will eventually install the phone or intercom down to the door of the property. So if somebody arrives, you can open the door for them and so forth. So there's tiles in the entranceway, and then in the lounge room and bedroom is the finished wood floors. One thing also to note is the higher ceilings. So I think these are about 2.8 or 2.9 meter ceilings, so a little bit higher than standard. And the other thing which is really cool is on the left hand side here, there's this sliding door, and you've got all of this storage. Now this apartment is probably about a week away from being finished. A couple of different people need to come back and just do some last touches. But you've got this modular storage. So you could actually put fitted cupboards in here or wardrobes. This is just a much easier option to have these adjustable shelves. So you can pretty much throw everything in here that you want. This is the breaker box for the mains power. That's pretty cool. There's little stickers telling you which each object is. And then the actual Wi-Fi or router is up here in the top corner. Normally they're above the door when you come into an apartment. But in this place, it's in this cupboard. That way you don't see it. Normally they'll put it up here where this access hatch is. It doesn't matter really. Let's show you the bathroom first. And there's a couple of things to finish off here. One of them is actually to put the panel back for all of the plumbing. So nice big sink, drawer right there. And there's actually a mirror with the light. So at the point where someone moves in, all of this plastic gets peeled off. So it's nice. Now the fact that it's a one-room apartment, it has a nice big shower, and it's got the rain shower attachment right there as well, which is very nice. Washing machine. I think this might be the same model as our washing machine. It looks quite similar. I wonder if it is or not. Actually, the shower is really nice. It's got the glass panels as well. Quite often you'll end up just with the curtain. There's a heated towel rail just here. This one's actually a plug-in one. Depending on how they build them, they're either directly plumbed into the apartment or they're a plug-in version. Nice that they've got the recessed toilet. And to do that, basically all of the plumbing here is all hidden away. So there is actually a hot water tank here. I have mentioned this in other videos. Generally, for 2 weeks per year across Russia, they do maintenance on the boiler houses for the hot water and for heating. So for usually 10 or 14 days, you don't have any hot water in your apartment. So it's nice to have this backup tank. And then this is all the workings here for the hot and cold water. Now, I didn't see the switch, but I think there is actually heated floors here in the bathroom. Just looking at the pipes and all the workings right here, that's normally a sign of heated floors. So nice, the washing machine. Now I do get a lot of comments about there not being a dryer or a tumble dryer. Now it is very typical that people don't have them. Quite often you can get these now with the washer and dryer modes built in together. But very normally, people just get a drying rack, store it in the wardrobe over here, wash your clothes and put them on the drying rack. That is very normal and very typical of Russian apartments. Being modern or old, it doesn't matter. they are going to come back and do the skirting boards. That's one of the last things to do. And actually, that's all of the wood there to do that. And then coming into this bedroom, nice and spacious, actually very spacious coming in here. Also, the curtains need to be hung. Got the view out to the, I guess, the park area in between all of the apartments. So nice big queen size bed, another dressing table, and then you've got this very large wardrobe here. Plenty of room to put some clothes. All the boxes and leftover materials are here for now. But you've got a lot of storage space. Actually some fitted drawers there as well, which is nice. And then the stuff that you always forget, you can hide in the top cupboard if you want to. One thing too with the ceilings, you can see this, what do they call this? These shadows around the ceilings. I forget the name of this. I talked about it only 5 minutes ago and I've forgotten now. Now, the way this apartment will be rented, it'll be rented furnished. So where you see here the bed, there will actually be bed sheets put on here and things like that. So there is central heating in the apartment from the builder, or for the apartment, whoever made the apartment. I've forgotten what I'm saying. These are nice too, they're like grey colour. These are not the original ones, they'll have replaced these at some point. And then these are the original windows. But I think these are triple glazed windows. Yes. So you've got plenty of thermal insulation. And you can open the window out to this main middle area here between the new apartments and then the old apartments that are nearby. And this playground area here, there is a few different objects. This is actually a school right here, which is nice. I'm pretty sure it might be a kindergarten or a preschool. Just looking at it, you can see also some of the older apartments, but nice and green, and somewhere where you can go for a walk. There is actually some seating areas over there. There's some playground equipment if you were to have kids. So really nice. Close the windows. So actually here you'd mount the TV, and the sockets are already pre-built in, but plenty of space. This is actually a very spacious bedroom. This is pretty much the logical layout of this room, how it's been finished. Is it called shadow ceilings? I don't know the word. Someone let me know in the comments. That'll be the nicest thing. And then let's come around the corner here. I think I perhaps forgot to mention the size of the apartment as I walked in. It's 43 square meters in total. And we will have a little chat with our special guest in a few minutes. Over here, Yuri. He doesn't come with the apartment. You don't get your own Yuri when you move in here. But this apartment he's able to show me and have a look around. One thing that is a little bit different, and this was at the request of the owner. So very typically, people like to do wallpaper in Russia on all the walls. However, in these modern apartments, people like to have the plastered finish. So it's not a smooth finish, it's got a bit of a texture to it, and then it's simply painted. And this is becoming a little bit more popular. Also, it keeps the cost down as well. You're not paying for endless rolls of wallpaper. So we've got essentially a kitchen, lounge room combined. There's a breakfast bar here, a couple of chairs where you can easily sit. And then this kitchen. So whilst Yuri's here, another one of his colleagues turned up. So what's happening basically in these last few days is different guys are coming to finish small things that need to be done. This is very normal right at the end of the construction of an apartment. The actual guy to do the skirting boards is coming tomorrow. Today is actually a national holiday in Russia. So it's a non-working day for the entire country. So here on the right is TV cabinet and somewhere to mount the TV. You can see again the radiator underneath the window. And these two between both rooms are more than adequate to keep this place nice and warm. It's actually warm in here now, so you don't really need anything more for heating. There is actually air conditioning in both rooms. You can see the unit right here. There'll be a remote control somewhere in a drawer. And then sofa, so you can sit down. I do like the fact that there's that flush finish between the flooring in here and then into the kitchen. These are all the tools for the guy who installed the kitchen. My actual kitchen in my apartment was installed by this same guy, Andrei. And then the kitchen. So this is all fitted and modular to the actual space. So what they do is they measure it up and then get something that fits exactly right. So you've got built-in fridge right here, which is always nice. Fridge, freezer, the oven, and then microwave built in as well. And the rest are all cupboards over here. And then there's actually the range hood, I think that's called. And then 2-burner hot plate, which is more than enough for a smaller apartment. Drawers. And then there is actually a dishwasher as well, which is nice. And then nice big sink. So the actual plumber's got to come back and fit off the tap for the sink. The actual brand here, Hyundai. Has anybody heard of this brand for kitchen appliances? Let me know in the comments. I will say also with this white color, it's nice and bright and spacious. Definitely feels bigger than the actual space itself. But I think for someone to live alone, more than likely the person who's going to actually rent this place would be a student at the local university, perhaps a couple. I'm actually really liking how big this bedroom is. More than enough room to walk around. Also the little desk area here. Ladies love the mirrors, of course. And once you get some nice curtains installed, there is actually the tracks already. That's actually all the hooks for the curtains on the top up there. So once you get some nice thick curtains hung up, it'll just change the whole complexity of the room. So there's only a few little things to do. This will be ready for rent. So I'm joined here by Yuri, and I think everybody maybe knows him by now from some of the different videos on the channel. Maybe introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Yuri. I'm a developer who doing in Moscow, in Russia, investment object with separate or not separate for rental, for daily rental, monthly rental, and now we in object monthly rental.
Right, so this particular apartment that I've done the walk around was one of your investors who purchased this property, and then you came in and did all of the finishing. Now we're probably a couple of days away from the handing over of the keys, and you're just coming now to do a little bit of a spot check of the last things that need to be done, and where we've noticed one or two little things, very, very minor though. So this place, 43 square meters. This is very typical one-room apartment. And this will eventually be listed for rent by the current owner, who basically bought this purely as an investment property. Now, I know in a lot of comments on previous videos, there seems to be different people's opinions about what I'm showing you. Simply, Yuri is able to give me access to his properties that he's developing for his investors. Right. Now, you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and his name of Investremont, but now it's new name. Only Yuri Borovsky, I don't remember what. I remember its name for my name.
Okay, so you're changing a little bit the niche of
Yeah.
the channel
Yeah.
to be more about you.
Because I talk, people said you talk not only for remodel. You talk about buildings. You talk about houses. You talk about flipping. You talk about earth, buy earth.
Yeah, land.
Land, earth.
And then also you showed me one of your commercial properties
Yeah.
that you're doing at the moment. So you've got a commercial building that you're making into separate rentable spaces.
Yeah.
It's going to have co-working spaces
Co-working
inside.
space. Now we do. I think after 1 month, I can show you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that Yuri's doing. And of course, you enjoy this side of the business, doing the apartments. And of course, people want to see bigger apartments.
Yeah.
But this 43 square meters is very standard, very normal for a person living alone, maybe a couple, possibly a couple with a child, possibly. But more than likely, we think it'll be someone who's attending the university. The fact that we're in the Baumanskaya district of Moscow. And what do you think of all this white, Yuri? White everywhere.
It's a good idea because it's. I like plasterboard on walls.
Right, this finish that's not wallpapered.
Yeah,
it's a painted, like a plaster rendering finish.
Decorative.
Yeah, decorative finish, yeah. I think the white makes it more spacious.
And white, it's. I think all colors, white or light colors. I don't know how to say it in English. Small.
Okay, it makes it feel bigger.
Bigger. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And I think I totally agree. I mean, this is not too much different to the size of my apartment, but it just feels more spacious. The entryway, the bedroom feels bigger. Kitchen's pretty much about the same size. So thank you, Yuri.
Thank you, Russell.
You're amazing. Now, if you want to see more of the objects that Yuri has, let us know in the comments, and I will definitely try to attend. Today is a non-working day in Moscow.
Yeah.
And it's a good day to get around the city a little bit easier without traffic. So yeah, from here I'm going to be talking about the property and the prices. The way I film this is a little bit in reverse, but when you're watching it, it's all in order. And I just thought I'd show you the underground parking here. So the entire footprint of this building has underground parking. And there is allocated spaces. So you can see probably just from the amount of cars here, how few amount of people are currently living here. Because until apartments are finished, of course, there's people not moved in yet. And I think we parked right down the other end. So we actually drove in through the ramp to come down here. But this is the parking. Now, if you're a visitor, you could park on the street, or the owner could give you access to come down to their space if it's free. Now, it's only empty at the moment because of the amount of people not moved into the building. So I'm back at home now, and I'm able to go through all the information about the apartment, and it should come up right here. Firstly, I want to say a big thank you to Yuri. He's always very accommodating, and actually I'm following along with him as he's visiting the different objects that he's working on. Actually, today we went to 3 different apartments, but I made just one video today, and purely because it was a completely finished apartment. Actually, just a couple of things to finish, but pretty much by the end of this calendar week, as of today, it'll be available for rent. So the apartment will actually be a rental, and it'll be listed for rent. The apartment itself was 43 square meters, and it was considered what's called a one-room apartment. Now, traditionally, if I look at Australian ways of describing it, it'd be a one-bedroom apartment, and it really was that, traditional layout, the entrance, There was the wardrobe, cupboard, bathroom, kitchen, kind of open living area, and then that separate big bedroom. And it was on the 5th floor, if you were wondering about which level it was on. I was trying to think how big the building was. I think it's about 28 or 30 floors in total. I only thought about this when I was leaving on the way home. Fully furnished, so everything you saw in there was actually a few things to add. Furnishing wise, the sheets, actually the curtains needed hanging. There was just a few extra things. I'll actually end up putting some pillows on the sofa and things like that. And that's how you rent it, fully furnished. I'm not sure if they'll do stuff in the kitchen. Sometimes they add things like a kettle and different things, even like pots and pans. Now, the distance to the metro is really interesting. It's about a 5 or 10 minute walk to Baumanskaya metro station. That's the nearest one in walking distance. You could go to others further away as well, but 5 minutes walk. I mean, today was a bit of a rainy day in Moscow, but it wasn't really that bad. You know, this is just the kind of warm up towards winter here in Moscow. And Baumanskaya, or Bauman University, is literally in the next building across from where the apartment was. And actually there's other areas and other buildings in the nearby vicinity of where we were. So very handy if you don't have a car. Now, there is parking underneath, but I think a lot of people that live in this immediate area attend the university, particularly a lot of students and a lot of younger people. The apartment definitely suited somebody who maybe either live alone or a young couple, or maybe 2 friends could share the apartment. I did mention to Yuri about registration, and the owner would be willing to do registration for somebody who would live there as well, which is really nice. It does vary from apartment to apartment. Now, Yuri isn't a real estate agent. He's a property developer. I will also put Irina's information if you've watched other videos. She can help you out with rentals in Moscow if you wanted one. I purely tag along with Yuri. He's a good friend of mine, and it's easy to be able to go and see apartments that he is working on for his clients. The price. Now, it's listed as a rental for 110,000 rubles per calendar month. And of course, the exchange rate's right here, $1,360 American currency, 1,040 pounds, 1,183 euros, 1,914 Canadian dollars, and 2,090 Australian dollars. Now, people are going to say that that's very expensive. Maybe people are going to say it's very cheap. You have to remember the location. It's in Moscow. It's not in the absolute center of Moscow, but it's definitely in that district that's considered Moscow. The actual river was also only about a 5-minute walk down the street. Plenty of green spaces near Baumanskaya metro station. There is restaurants and cafes galore. You don't need a car if you were to live there. And the price is really warranted for the location where it is. Also the fact that it's a brand new apartment as well. Completely brand new, fully furnished. Just bring your luggage and move on in. I mean, could you live there? I mean, I certainly could. You know, I think it's a little bit white though. It needs a little bit of color and a little bit of pop here and there, but I think it'll, you know, definitely grow on you over time. Thanks everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And again, thanks to Yuri for letting me come and film videos. It's super nice of him to give me this access, and we're very good friends at the same time as well. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and post a comment. Let me know what you think of the apartment as a rental, and could you live in that apartment? Thanks. I hope you're enjoying these different real estate videos. I will put my Telegram channel as a link right here, and then another video on the channel will come up right now. You can check out some other real estate that I've made videos in and see if you can see something different that you haven't seen on the channel. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.